Hello, and welcome to another Business Spotlight interview. Today we have Craig Lindsay of Core Specialist Services. Thank you very much for coming along, Craig. So my first question for you then is tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and your role within the business then.
Yes, thank you. I've been up in the northeast of Scotland now, somewhat over 40 years. Um, I did come up from England at that time, and joined the oil and gas industry, which was booming at the time, of course. And I've been working pretty much in the same line of work all that time. However, I started off working in a laboratory and spent about 20 years there. And then I went into consultancy. Um, and then after a bit, I started to think, well, actually, I'd be better off running this business for myself. So I set up Core Specialist Services as an independent consultancy back in 2010. Now I own, and I'm the owner and the chief, consultant and everything. I have another member of staff, and we also operate by bringing in associates, specialist associates from uh, all over the world, actually. That's kind of it in a nutshell. But I've a passion for the subject, and yeah, it's that's where we're at.
Excellent, excellent. So you've got a lot of experience in your industry then,
Mhm.
and now you've been running a business in that industry since 2010.
Mhm.
So what has been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner then?
I guess that when we started out, we didn't realize it was actually pretty good times. Um, it, and then later on, obviously, we've had to, go through a lot of rather tough times with recession, um, oil price drops, COVID, and so on and so forth. Um, it's been actually pretty tough to survive over the last few years. Um, and I think only through the network of people I know and passionate subject, I've been able to company to survive basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of touched a little bit about on some of the challenges there about the recession and the petrol prices rising at
Mhm,
times.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so what did you do then to overcome those challenges? And how did you find those challenges actually?
Well, it's kind of the sort of projects we run. Some of them can they always last quite a bit of time. Some of them can last for several years. Um, but so that is helpful because it allows you to perhaps survive, tough times, and then when things are picked up again, you can pick up some new projects. Um, so I have to say it's probably a fair element of good fortune involved in that. It might not have turned out that way, but persistence and knocking on doors, if you like, virtually um, pays off. LinkedIn is a very good platform for me. We don't have an official marketing department, but that is my main marketing platform, if you like.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Um, what other than the actual industry challenges that you've had, what about as a business owner? What sort of challenges have you faced there then?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had more staff at one time, and we had, unfortunately, to downsize a little bit. We had one, yeah, a couple of people moved on, and we didn't replace them because, you know, the size of the market wasn't sufficient. So that was not a pleasant experience, downsizing really. But survival mode, I guess, is the case that it would have been at some occasions. However, probably in the last couple of years, we've learned now, obviously, to embrace the energy transition and look to diversify the things we can do. And actually, there's lots of things we can do. And so it takes a while to get that stuff going, but kind of change the direction from what I've been doing the last 38 years or 39 years, and then suddenly change course a little bit. But it's possible, So
Yeah.
I didn't think it was, but it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what you've sort of told us there is that you've been able to adapt to the economy, the situation, which is brilliant. Yeah, so again, I'm just very interested. So what kind of can you go into a little bit more detail about some of those things that you had to adapt to then?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a work in progress, but with the carbon capture and storage, people talked about it quite a long time, and it seems to finally be taking off. So we're getting quite involved with that, and there's a big learning curve, but it's also in another way, what I've discovered is that a lot of our customers don't know that much about it either. So if you can learn as much as you can, as quickly as you can become an expert, quite quickly. And it's like the snowball that rolls down the hill just gathers momentum, and hopefully that's going to continue as the carbon capture and storage licensing round is announced later this year. More people will be looking for support with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And sorry, we also we're looking at a number of other areas because we work with geological rock samples. We're also looking at mining and a number of geothermal and radioactive waste deep storage, all involved the type of studies that we can get involved with. So there's quite a few areas all associated with the energy transition that have turned out to be areas we can work in.
Excellent. And you kind of touched on earlier that sometimes you have to speak to your clients and let them know as well and re-educate them. And so my kind of question is then what do you do then to sort of keep yourself up to date? What sort of methods do you do? Do you read certain books, or is it going online, reading articles? What things do you do to keep up to date yourself?
What I tend to do, I mean, you can go on courses, but there's many courses, so it's difficult to know which ones to go on. But I mean, it's a mixture of things: courses, online resources. But one of the key things that I do is, as I mentioned before, a team builder as much as anything. Our in-house team is very small, but we can build a much larger team of experts in specific areas. So, I have several experts with decades of experience of carbon capture and storage, for example, who I can bring in to, support these projects. So it's all about putting a team together.
Excellent. Okay, that is very fascinating, and thank you very much for educating us a little bit more on that. What are your aspirations for your company in the next 5 years?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's interesting to see. It's a work in progress with quite a few of these areas we're trying to venture into, and yet to be seen where that will end up. I mean, for example, I've been out to Finland, Helsinki, a couple of times, we're hoping to, pick up work there through mining industry. There's various projects in Europe related to geothermal energy and so on. But it's a slow process and all a work in progress to see where we actually, turning these conversations and meetings into, a solid piece of work. But the opportunities are large, which is good. And you tend to find you're talking to people at a higher level than I would normally be talking to in a historic or, role, if you like.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you reach out to these people in other countries? You talked about Helsinki there.
Yes, well, I've got I have got a very large network, and I attend sort of relevant conferences. Some of them are physical, some of them are online. It's basically identifying the right people and getting them on board, with interesting ideas, and that in general works. It doesn't always work, but
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you find that kind of networking?
yeah, well, as I say, I use LinkedIn as a primary platform. I've got some 15,000 connections and so on, so people all over the world. So if somebody wants something, I can find an expert in my network. And likewise, if I want to try and find somebody that's doing something that they might be interested in something we're doing, I can reach out to them and so on. So.
Brilliant. Do you have any advice for your 18-year-old self?
Well, it just takes a lot of hard work. I mean, I never imagined myself as working as being a, self-employed or having my own company. I was quite happy working, as an employee for many years. But then I moved on to the consultancy side. And as I say, I saw that the opportunities, it seemed to me it wasn't a risk to do what I was doing. You have to be knowledgeable, build experience, confident. But, if I can do it, I would say most people can do it. But it really having some experience. I couldn't have done what I did when I was 30. I had to have a base of experience. I think things have changed now, though. I think you can gather knowledge and experience at a much younger age, with all the resources available. But it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence, and don't give up. It's a key message, I think. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. Don't give up.
Mhm.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, and last thing then, if you started your business again, um, would you do anything differently? And if there was anything that you would do differently, what would it be?
Yeah, I don't think I would actually. I mean, I started out on my own. I wasn't expected to take on employees. I got so busy, I had to take on employees, and that's been great. I think the biggest problems are the ones you can't control. As I said, you know, geopolitical problems. Recessions. The war we've had, yeah, it's ongoing and affected, fuel prices and so on, and COVID, all these sort of things come along. You just can't, you just don't know what's coming next, and it seems to be getting more frequent. These things come out of nowhere, but you just have to carry on, and hope you can navigate through it.
Excellent, excellent, Craig. Thank you very much. The last thing I like to always ask in these interviews is if there was any sort of way that anyone could get in contact with you, if they wanted to approach you for any sort of work or anything, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Craig?
Well, we've got our website, Course Specialist Services, so you can just search for that, and I think you'll easily find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm fairly active, and Craig Lindsay, just search for that, and Aberdeen, yeah, you'll find me there, no problem.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Craig. That was excellent. Thank you for your time. Okay.
Oh, all right. No, thank you very much.